Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. We fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom.
On this episode of Cigars and Sea Stories, Bennett and Mike are sitting down to discuss moving across country, like PCSing or whatever. Or just, I mean, you moved a lot since you've been out of service. I've moved a couple of times.
Actually, I've moved a lot since I was a kid.
Oh, just in general?
Yeah. So my wife and I figured this out the other day.
Yeah.
And all right, so I'm 42 years old. And since like when I was born, basically, I've moved on average. I think it's like every, dude, I can't even remember now. It's a lot. It's
a
lot. A lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like now, you know, it's like one of those things. This happens to a lot
nomadic.
I am nomadic. I need to basically live in a motorhome. I've really...
Yeah, but like a badass motorhome.
Yeah, like a badass motorhome.
Like what Little Richie get caught dead in. You know what I mean?
I keep trying to tell my wife that, but... All right, so here's the crazy part. No, she won't play. She won't play.
I know.
So, but why not is the question.
Right.
And she can never really give me a good fucking answer. So,
right.
but that's not it. I mean, just because you live in a motorhome doesn't mean you can't... All right. But it's not ideal. So here's the thing, though. So instead, since I've been married, we have owned, this isn't rented. We have owned 5 houses.
Jesus. I didn't
know. And we've
been
married. We've been together 15 years.
Good for you.
4 or 5. Hold on.
Good or bad?
So
are we in the black on this one? Are we good here?
Hold on. Oh yeah, for sure. I never lost money, thank God.
I know, right? Thank God. Jesus, you're talking about
thank God for VA loans. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
So
gotta love those AAA mortgages. You're welcome, everybody else. We're the only ones keeping the housing market up. It's really no big deal.
All right, so we bought our first house in 2004. That was Oswego. Cinnamon, blueberry.
Listen to him. What are you talking about? Ingredients for cooking shit, or are these
remember I was telling you about the freaking bayberry fruit side.
Yeah.
It's like a fruit salad over there, man. And then down the road where the other neighborhood that we lived in is like a spice. There's like spice.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I grew up in like presidents' names.
Cinnamon, ginger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's spice, and then in between those two, in between the fruit and the spice, there's constellations. Oh my God. So anyway, people are like, "What
good job, city planners."
So no, it's not 5 houses; it's 4 houses.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 houses.
Well,
so we own 4 houses, and then we went from Oswego, New York, to Liverpool, New York, and then we moved 3 separate times within the same zip code. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we left the state, went to North Carolina, and we went from North Carolina to Florida, from Florida to Delaware, and from Delaware back to upstate New York. So, dude, enough.
Right.
All right. So it's great. It was fun. Blah, 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 the whole thing. But damn, dude. I mean, we've got it down to such a science that literally, I have 4 kids, the whole thing. We've got like a 3-bedroom house, basically, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we can pack our entire house up into a 24-foot U-Haul in like a day. And then we're out. We have it down to a science. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have no extra shit because extra shit is horrible. See, some people, man, they just don't realize how much shit they have.
Yeah.
You guys, you do. I'm sorry, but unless you're a mobile nomadic person, you have way too much shit. Good job. Good job being a consumer, because that's what you are.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah, I think about it all the time. Well, I put myself into that category. I'm like, I have too much shit. This is ridiculous.
You just have too much shit.
Well,
and the thing is
everywhere you go, you throw shit away, though. Like, before I move, I call it moving triage. Right? I mean, like...
The thing is to just never get there, though. So that's
Good
where
luck.
we've gotten now. We've got it down, man.
Well,
you don't bring anything in unless something else goes out. So if you're buying something, what's the point of buying it? Are you buying more shit or are you replacing something? Because if you're replacing it, get rid of the old shit. And that's what happens.
Right.
Is sometimes the old stuff just stays and doesn't get replaced. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So bottom line is this. If you walk into your garage and you haven't used it in 6 months, get rid of it.
Yeah.
I challenge you.
Well, yeah, but
Same with clothing.
See, I agree with that to an extent, but also it's seasonal. Because one of the things that I did...
Of course, but there's no season that lasts over 6 months.
Right, and I get that. But what I mean, though, is... Okay, so my little journey went from growing up, born and raised in Michigan, and never moving anywhere. I mean, I moved once when I was 4, and then grew up in the house, right? And my parents still live there. It's like... So... Go to boot camp in a white t-shirt and jeans, get my head shaved, blah, 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 spit out the other side, marry a chick, start accumulating way too much shit. It went base housing, Yucca Valley, then over to Quantico, got the big D, and now I've got way too much shit at this point, right? When you get divorced, you just have too much shit. Unless, of course, she takes everything. So... I mean, there is a cleansing fire of sorts, but we don't need to go into details. And of course, moving triage, where you're like, oh yeah, I don't need this. I'm going to get rid of this. I got rid of some like winter clothing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was just so stupid. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going out to Southern California and this is where I'm going and I'll probably stay out there. Like when I moved back out to Southern California, I fully was like, no, I just want to stay out here. And it wasn't until during deployment that it was like, we're gonna move into Oceanside, right? I lived in Eastern Oceanside near the main gate, like the actual main gate, not the one out near the 5.
Right. Yeah, but so you got rid of winter clothing, right?
Yeah.
But even at this point, it wouldn't have done you anything anyway. You would have replaced it all anyway. So just buy new shit.
Right. No, I get it. I'm the guy where...
Move it just because you might use it is fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Right. I'm the guy...
People are like,
See,
because your shit. You have too much shit.
Right. Well, and okay, maybe there are some other people that are out there that are like this, right? My wife always complains about boots. My boots. I have a nice boot collection of swats. They've traveled around with me a lot. I get a lot of use out of my boots.
Do you wear them all, though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the boots that I have.
Then there you go.
Right. The boots in my collection. Now, here's where the beef is. It took me like 2 or 3 pairs to figure out that was the pair. And that's her problem. She's like, you don't shop around and figure out that that's the pair. You're like, get the boots, break them in, and then, like you get them through the trial period,
Yeah.
I do that.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. So you have the pair then, right? Do you still wear the other pairs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wear the shit out.
What the fuck? So then there's no the pair.
Well, and I know.
Just tell her that there's no such thing as the pair.
Right.
So you might have 5 different pairs of boots.
Well, then
I do not. I have 1.
Right.
I have wrap boots. That's what I have.
Well, here's the reason why I bring up moving.
Because for me, they're the pair.
So, like, we rent Fob and Victus, right? We're going to be moving to another rental. We're still, God willing, we'll still be out here hunting and doing other such things. But we are going to probably move closer to the city to get in the mix a little bit more. And that's for business reasons. But anyhow, whenever I think about moving, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's simple. I'll just pack up my ruck, sling that over the shoulders. Okay, burn the rest. Let's get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, that's where my brain immediately goes.
Yeah.
And of course,
I might have
it's
to
never
make a run down there because I still have stuff at your house.
Well, yeah, and it's all going to get moved.
I have shit at your house. Like you're my storage area.
Yeah. No. I'm tracking. A wink and a nod.
What do I even have there?
What do you have here? You've got like body armor and ammo.
Body armor, ammo, and yeah, that's about it, right? Yeah, there's a tub and a bag.
Yeah. Nothing that's not important.
Right.
I'll tell you that
Body
much.
armor. Damn, I forgot about that. Body armor.
I got to make sure that the ammo's good too. I got to go through that. Because I pulled it all out after we got flooded, but it was the middle of fucking January. It was a pain in the ass. See, that's the thing. It's like you move all your shit and you go all over the place. And
damn it.
It's like his computer was ruined. Now I'm talking to the audience. I always talk to Ryan as if he's in the room. Ryan Schmeckatelli, or dude.
Yeah, right.
So now I'm talking, like your computer.
My computer was ruined in the flood.
The flood. The great flood. January 2016. Boom, boom, boom. Dude, fuck that so much. Fuck that so much. I came downstairs, my goddamn carpet was floating.
It's horrible.
I mean, I was 2 inches below my knee.
Right. That space was perfect. Anyway.
I'll cry a little bit.
But anyway, so moving. So yes, we've done a lot. Most military folks have done a shit ton. And it sucks. But how do you make it less sucky? Get rid of your excess shit. Yeah.
Well,
you don't need concrete bags of concrete. You just don't need
it. Yeah. Don't do a ditty move. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that. I've done them all. I'm telling you, I lived on base. I lived off base. I had a wife and kids, and then I claimed household goods, and I did a ditty move, and fuck that. You want to know what? I don't get paid shit for saying this. Beacons. That's how I move.
Yeah,
and you know what I do?
Actually, I do a hybrid ditty move. Hybrid. It's a hybrid.
Too much work.
I've done two separate hybrids. I did the pods thing.
Oh, which
unfortunately all right, so the pods thing is good. Mm-hmm. But because you have time, so it's not like it has to be done on one day. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
But you're usually doing that yourself or with family and friends, right?
Right.
And that just sucks because you're lifting heavy shit.
Right.
Who the fuck's got time for that?
Yeah,
no. I don't anymore.
I'm getting too old. Will seize
I'm getting
up.
too old to deal with it.
Yep.
I am. So you've got that. Then now this is what I've done the last 2 times that we've moved is I rent the U-Haul, but then I hire guys to load.
Gotcha.
And hire guys to unload.
Yeah.
Sometimes that works out. Sometimes it doesn't. When you live on base, that's a little difficult. I can be honest, honestly, when you live on base, because the guys that are moving you need to be able to get on base.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I was just looking at this thing. It's funny you should mention that because I was just I think it was Vet Pros. Somebody sent us, I want to say it was Vet Pros, but it's everything from handyman, personal shopping,
Yeah.
Little stuff to moving and stuff like that. And a lot of them do have access to base.
Right. Yeah. And see, a lot of times too, moving is not the most, I could say that the people that moving companies hire are usually not the most upstanding citizens. They might be okay people,
right?
But usually there's some shady shit going on there. When we moved down from Florida to Delaware, I hired guys to offload me at Dover Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And literally that was a shit show. We had
oh, that's so good.
And this crazy part is like it's like they don't understand. Like I said, listen, I need guys with clean records and a driver's license because I knew it could be a problem.
Yeah.
and they sent me everything but
Oh,
clean records and a driver's license. So I'm trying to get these guys on base right now. I have guns. I just do.
right.
So,
Duh.
and that's fine in the state of Delaware. They're really, pretty liberal laws on firearm ownership.
Yeah.
Not. I didn't have to like go and register and do all kinds of crazy shit. But to get on base, there's some, they don't want safes of guns coming on base unannounced. They
Right.
just don't like that usually, right?
Right.
So, again, being honest, is there any firearms on the truck? Yes, there's an entire safe of them. You would have thought that I pulled a gun out and pointed it at the MPs.
They didn't know the
shit.
shit or go blind. They're
I shit you not. And so, but not only that, but literally 5 minutes prior to that, I had brought 2 felons
Oh
to
my
sign
God.
on. I didn't know they were felons, but they're motherfucking felons.
Oh Jesus.
And the guy, the owner of the company, his license is suspended, registration is freaking not, it's just
Oh my
every
God.
bad thing that could have gone down.
Jesus.
And then I say, yes, I have a safe of guns.
Good call.
So they're all like ready to draw down on me like I'm some kind of criminal,
Oh, God.
right? So it was just
Get
a
the
shit
fuck
show,
outta here.
man. So I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. There's nothing that says like I had to go through like I'm pulling out because I had it because I know I've done this a few times. I know how the shit works. I had the policy printed out for base from the air wing. You know what I mean? I'm like, I had the base policy. I had the housing policy. I have
good.
because that's all privately owned now too. So I had their policy and I'm like, no. Wait. You guys are freaking out about this. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Here's, you know what I mean? Here's the paperwork. So it's like the sergeant had no idea,
Right.
And I'm like, no, you're not going to treat me like a criminal. I'm doing nothing wrong.
Right. These
I
are
don't
my
care,
fucking guns.
They're my guns. I'm a veteran.
What is going on?
You know what I mean? I'm a trigger puller. I'm not, and it's not like I'm just some veteran either. Like
Right.
I literally like my M4 is an extension of my body. Like think of like a chef with his knives. That's me with my freaking M4. It just is. All of us know I had the calluses to show it. I mean, you know what I'm saying, dude.
Right.
All the freaking thing. Everyone that's listening that knows what the hell I'm talking about. It's like it's even more so. It's literally as though it's an appendage on my body when I put it on,
Right.
And these guys are standing there like, no, seriously, this is it. So finally everything got squared away. I called, I'm like, listen, I can't pay you. That's it. Because you can't even give me a guy to get on base to help me unload. So I'm like, fuck it. So I squared it all away and I just drove on to base, got my U-Haul parked, and then I called another company.
Yeah.
And I still kind of had issues, but I was able to finally get one guy on base.
Nice. See, okay.
So he helped me unload, yada yada yada. But then this last move went pretty well, because I knew, I had already, the last move kind of took care of all the other bullshit. So yeah.
Right.
But what a shit show.
Oh God. See, that's like
people need to calm down about the guns and the firearms.
Well,
I mean,
that's the other reason why I go with a mover. I'm telling you straight up. Dude, I'm going to pitch beacons for days because they're great. One of the things that I do is I consolidate all of my shit.
is Beacon's a veteran-owned company?
I don't know.
2 Guys in a Truck, is that veteran-owned?
I don't know.
It's a franchise. I know there's a lot of veterans that own franchises of two guys in the truck.
Yeah. See,
this one, just thinking out loud.
I really like them because they come in, pack all your shit up, right? So there's a packing team, very methodical, whatever. Then the next team comes through, they move all of your stuff, right? Great. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we go out and we get all the packing material in the boxes that we can possibly get ourselves, pack all of our shit up as best we can ourselves, right? Like, pack all your own books. You know, if you can do a wardrobe or something like that, pack all your own clothes. I don't want somebody else going through my shit anyhow.
Right. So it makes sense to have, I mean, at least the stuff that you want organized.
Right.
Have it done.
You know, my office, all of that other stuff. So all of that is consolidated into as few of rooms as possible, to where you're packing up the kitchen, because fuck that. You know, you're doing the heavy lifting on the furniture. I
carry pillows.
Yeah,
that's it.
There you go.
I'm like Kevin Costner in the For the Love of the Game. I only carry pillows.
It's fantastic.
That's it.
Clear.
I only carry pillows.
Mechanism.
That's it. Clear the mechanism. Hey, that's Detroit, isn't it? Wasn't he? Didn't he play in Detroit?
For the Tigers in there. Yeah.
Actually, I'm watching a little while we're recording. They're talking about tiny home.
Oh my god.
Stuff to revitalize Detroit.
That's something I'm not moving into.
The barren wasteland of Detroit.
Post-apocalyptic world.
Some straight RoboCop shit going down there,
boy. It really is.
It really is. So don't move to Detroit.
Yeah, not so much.
Oh, unless you want to farm.
There is some great pizza in Greektown.
You can literally, start a farm right in the city.
You can.
No. You can, because there's that much empty
You really
land.
Can. Yes, there is rural land.
Freaking hysterical.
There's a belt of rural land from the inner city and then the surrounding suburban areas.
Yep.
It's pretty sweet.
There's a guy, actually, he's a veteran.
Yeah, but dude, I'm going to tell you right now, man. Fuck the weather up there, man. I'm just saying.
Dude, well, look at where I live. Come on.
Right. Yeah, dude, fuck all that. No, I'm not having it. I don't give a shit. I'm thinking about doing my wintering in, I don't know, like South America, so that I don't have to do wintering. I'm going to live here in Lake Titicaca, you know, like, which would be badass.
So I want to summer or winter in the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
There's VAs there too.
That's awesome. Good call. We should look into this further.
Seriously.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, you know, not that the VA is end all be all, but it's healthcare.
Right.
And it's, you know,
what you're saying is it's domesticated.
Right. So there's a VA there. There's a VA in Puerto Rico, but nobody wants to be there because Puerto Rico's a mess right now.
Yeah, but their taxes are so low.
It's so claim residency. It is really gorgeous there. Let's be honest. It is really gorgeous in Puerto Rico, but economically, it's a nightmare there right now. Yeah. I have a couple friends that live there, and holy hell. But still, again, you know, there's actually a VA in the Philippines too, that the United States Veterans Administration has a VA hospital in the Philippines.
I'm a damn. Dude, their president's going crazy on us right now.
I know. Yeah, he is.
Fantastic.
But it's not the people. That's just the president.
I know.
And people don't believe that.
Right.
No. Anyway. Yeah, he's basically like, nope, I'm going with China.
Right.
The problem is people are like, yeah, no, you're not.
Right.
So anyway, where else do we have? I think there's a VA we have a VA in Germany, I think too.
Yeah.
There's a couple places where you could go expat and still get care from the VA. Plus, they'll pay. There is a program for veterans abroad.
Really?
There sure is.
Shut the front gate.
Yeah, man.
That's
So
cool.
if it's service, as long as it's service connected, the VA will pay for it.
So Rambo can still get his VA care.
Yeah.
I bet that he is probably the only example of a veteran who qualifies to go get a private practice physician. I think Rambo was like pretty much it.
Oh, man. So I mean, it's not as simple as it sounds either, of course, because it's the government we're talking about here.
Right.
But yes, speaking of moving and nomadic veteraning and things like that, like, you know,
You just
Leo,
verbed
like
that.
Leo veteraning, like Leo Jenkins and guys like that, you know, yeah, it is possible to, especially with healthcare, if you are service connected, to get the VA to pay for your health care even abroad.
That's nuts.
You just said there's just certain things you have to do.
See, check this out.
But again, it's just paperwork. And there is some hoops that you got to jump through, and you're going to probably have to pay up front, but they'll reimburse you, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But yeah, but it's still possible.
Did you know this? Did you know that when you leave service, they will pay for your move so long as they will pay for you to move home or another location of equal distance? Yeah,
of course. So, right. And that's what a lot of people don't think about either, is you can technically, so let's say, because people, I just did an episode on another podcast about transitioning out, because I'm sick of guys literally that have been out for 2 years and then they're calling me because they're homeless.
Oh yeah.
Because of piss poor planning and other things, some of which are out of people's control, but regardless. So this is one of these things, and this is to all of our active duty guys at this point. You can change your home of record.
Oh, that while you're in the service?
Yes, you can. Yeah. So if you know, like 18 months out, you said, you know, you just got back from Afghanistan on your 7th deployment, or Djibouti or wherever, you know what I'm saying? Or you just came off float, or you're one of those poor bastards, the 300 poor bastards that are going to be stationed in Finland. If you guys haven't read that. Although that could be kind of cool because there's some really hot Finnish chicks. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, with that being said, you come back and you're like, fuck this, I'm out, I'm done. And let's just say you're out, you know, you've got 14 months left. Most of the time you can kind of figure out where you want to go, right? So let's just say that you're stationed at Lejeune, but you don't want to go back to home in Midland, Michigan. You want to move to Texas, or let's just say Phoenix, Arizona, right? Because that's a decent ways away.
Hawaii,
right.
Alaska.
There's a way, and I would say this definitively. There's a way to change your home of record. I don't know the mechanisms of it, and I guess I'll have to put that out.
A lot of good you are, Jesus. You're just saying that you could.
That on another podcast, but you'll have to. There is a way to change your home of record. Yeah. So, in turn, then the military will pay for the move to that new home of record. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
see, that's like, I had to pay the little extra to get all the way up to Massachusetts because they would move me to Michigan, which kind of felt like snapping myself in the eyeball with a rubber band. When I did it all over again, you know, and came down here. So, which I'm really happy that this is working out the way that it's working out, because I'm a huge fan of living in Raleigh and this area. So it was a really good idea to pull the trigger on the move and move so drastically. You know, I mean, because it was you're not moving entirely across country from Michigan to California, but you're shaving about 12 hours off if you were to drive to, like Massachusetts would be all the way across the country, right? Or Maine.
Right.
But Michigan is in the Eastern time zone. So moved from there, boot camp afterwards, went to 29 Palms, and my first home was out on 2 Mile Road. Then it was Yucca. So it was on-base housing, which was off-base out at Casa del Sol. And so it's base housing, off-base. And then I had Yucca Valley after the first deployment. Came back to that place, then moved to Quantico. Got divorced, signed a lease on another apartment, left there, moved in with my buddy for a couple of months, just had a room, but all my shit was in storage, which counts as another move. And then over to Pendleton, and we were living in Aliso Viejo. Dude, it was awesome. It was fantastic. It was an end-unit townhouse, or like end-unit condo, whatever you want to call it. But we had a 1-car garage, and I had the motorcycle in there and everything. It was awesome. It was great. It was way too fucking expensive. Way too expensive. And I was trying to do the whole cost of goods thing. Or wait. What am I saying? The household goods thing. Where you say, hey, man, yeah, I got a divorce at the last duty station. Now I have all this shit, and you should give me BH. So that paperwork finally went through while I was on deployment, and I replenished my savings.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then got back, moved into Oceanside, which Heather did that. My wife, awesome lady. And Heather and her sister moved into that apartment. And then we moved out of there. We did some move-in triage. Got rid of my lazy boy, which, damn it. It's a bad idea. I don't know, whatever. I did some shit on that lazy boy. And then over to Massachusetts, which I said was Beacons, but we drove cross country also with our vehicles. And then
Right.
It's down to Raleigh, which now we're moving again into another rental, which I'm not going to buy anytime soon.
No, what's the point? Until you find exactly what you want to,
Dude, like somebody asked me, okay, if you didn't get into real estate next, or like the housing market next, what would you look at? Franchise options. In an investor group, franchise options. They're lucrative. There's shit that, like, I'm taking a look just from an investment portfolio kind of a thing. If you don't go into real estate, which, I'm even talking about getting my real estate license just so that I can make money off the referrals.
Right. Yeah, man. No, I have franchises though. Like I have a buddy who owns a couple Subways.
Yeah.
And he barely does anything. He basically has hired people to run it for him.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, he makes a killing.
Yeah.
And he does run a business, but he's a real estate guy. So it's kind of funny how this blends together. So he owns 4 Subways.
Nice. Yeah.
But he also runs a real estate. He basically is a real estate investor. So he owns a property, and I love this. I do this with air quotes, everyone, a property management company.
Yeah.
But he lives in a state too,
It's
where
perfect.
you don't have to like be, because not every state's the same with that,
Well,
some states you actually have to hire, like even as a landlord, you can't just be like, you can't own multiple properties. And you can't manage your properties because you have to be licensed in certain states.
Yeah.
So he lives in a state where he doesn't have to be licensed, but
Nice. Yeah.
so it's a little easier.
Well, that's the other thing, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because I don't know if Virginia is one of those states, but we had a property manager in Virginia. She was a great lady. It was fine, Of course, strict and stern, which a property manager should be.
Right.
They're collecting.
North Carolina is a state where you have to be licensed, which you have to be a licensed realtor.
Yeah.
And then there's something on top of that as well. So which doesn't make any sense to me because does that
they're just trying to
do?
get rid of shitbag landlords is
like,
what
it
is.
But
they don't want to run ghettos down this motherfucker.
Right. Well, I mean, come on, just
right.
That's not exactly true, but anyway.
Well, I get that. It's just what's funny about this guy, I don't know him. I have no idea who you're talking about, but it makes perfect sense because, he's in real estate, but he's making money off the market.
Yes, correct.
Rather than on it.
Yeah.
And,
he does commercial. He's got a couple residential things. But then he does commercial real estate where he owns, I want to say he owns like a strip mall and like 2 or 3 office buildings, one of which he's in. So, it's kind of cool though.
Yeah. Well, and frankly, I'd rather deal with a property manager because more often than not, you're not dealing with anybody. You're putting a check in a secure mail slot.
Right.
Similar to putting something in the U.S. Postal Service slot, or for those of us who remember Blockbuster.
So I always thought it would be cool to like run an incubator type situation. Sort of like the where you have businesses, not an incubator, and I'm talking about like a office building, but that's set up for small businesses, not for like giant, like literally like you and I, or like
it's like the Frontier.
Yeah, sort of. Right. It's very much like the Frontier, except for like, there was a place out in Hendersonville where John Massey, with Veterans Healing Farm, where they have their offices, which is exactly what I'm talking about. It's a lot like the Frontier, but it's a little, literally you're renting like 100 square feet of, you know what I mean? Like an office. Yeah. And then it comes with the Wi-Fi. It comes with the collective space. It's the whole thing. So that I always thought would be cool to run.
Yeah.
To own and start like a couple of those, like franchise that out. And I don't know if there are any. I haven't looked into it. Franchised that type of stuff out, other than like, you know what I mean? But like an actual franchise, not necessarily somebody that's, trying to help small businesses with whatever, but an actual, you know what the hell I'm saying, dude?
Yeah.
A system.
Well, one of the things that I looked at these before in the past, they're the live work, like luxury loft structures, where down below they're all roll up doors as you look from one side in a parking lot.
Right.
On the other side, you basically have a 1-car or 2-car double stack garage, depending in your inner alleyway. Above the office or whatever you want to, it could be a nail salon. I would turn it into a studio down there and a conference room, or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then 1 floor above, you have a living room and a kitchen, and then an open loft above that, which is adequate for an office.
Yeah. Well, it's like all old. That's like old school, dude. That's like old school downtown.
Right.
That's the way, like, that's the way that America used to be.
Right.
Like America was the bakery on the ground floor. The family lived above that bakery, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the way that almost all of middle America, every downtown in like Midland, Michigan, Midland's a little different because it's, it's where the Illuminati's from. But but like Princeton, Illinois.
Yeah.
And no one's going to know where that's at, but that's a town I lived in until I was 10. and I'm sure the downtown is virtually dead at this point.
Yeah.
But that's the way, literally, like there was a hardware store there, and literally there's the hardware store, and the family that owned it lived above it, period.
Yeah.
And that was kind of cool. So it's like recreating that type of atmosphere.
It really is. Yeah. Just with a really super modern, hip, you can do the whole bottom floor is entirely
How do we
modular.
go from moving to this? See, this is the way we do shit.
Yeah.
I guess it all has to do with moving, though.
Yeah, no, it is. Everything has to do with moving.
So-
if I could, that's probably what, and what's neat about some of these different floor plans, depending upon what it is if it's an interlocked single straight row, some of these are on an arc. Some of these are just different layouts, what have you. But if it's interlocked, they put green space up top.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So what I really love, and I saw this most recently, it was an arc. I was digging around online, might have been Pinterest or something, but it was an arc so that on the inside of the arc is where you pulled up, and that was the parking lot area, what have you, or the walk around space, what have you. On the other side, where you had more space, the top of the arc, was where the driveways were, and then where you could come in and knock on what would be the front door of the home side of this. And then when you go up to the top, again, so it's an arc on the inside, that's your green space. So everybody's lawn was one big-ass strip of lawn that went all the way across everybody's roof. But then where it split and separated was your little patio area where they had their grill and stuff like that. So it's pretty neat just in how it was set up. And then everybody had their own individual access to the rooftop. Out the backside, there was like a, how do you put it? It's like an emergency exit almost. It's not a fire escape, but one step above that. So, yeah. And the reason why I bring it up is because Research Triangle Park, I go, in the Frontier building down on the main floor, you can check around in there, and they don't make any attempt to hide it. They're going to spaces identical to that.
Yeah.
To live, work, high foot traffic, integrate professional businesses that everybody needs into where they're working. Yeah. And
they just did it. There's a mall somewhere. Some investor bought a mall, and they've turned it in. I mean, there's shop space there, but now they've also taken a bunch of that shop space and turned it into single bedroom apartments. So the apartment might only be like 350 or 400 square feet, but for a young professional, and it's in a mall. It's pretty cool. I was like, wow, what a great idea.
Yeah. Well, the idea then is that your domicile is a residence, basically like a hotel room, right? A lot of folks,
absolutely.
I mean, the hotel industry is taking a huge hit, with Airbnb and some of these other different ones, because people with really cool houses or, interesting homes, what have you, do very well on Airbnb. But frankly, you can do a lot of the online property manager stuff through there with skirting those regulations because you're renting it in a different way, right?
Right.
And I only bring it up because in those types of situations, like, I do not want to use my house as a hotel room. I don't. I want my family to be able to exist and be safe within a home, exist and be safe and play outside in the yard. Other folks would rather live in what would be considered like a hotel room, leave that, walk down into a communal space to wherever their office is that's like adjacent to, and work in that area. Totally makes sense. But it goes hand in hand with what you're talking about, because I'm significantly downsizing. I'm moving from 20 acres, and you've seen my house, to...
Yeah.
I'll probably have a postage stamp somewhere with a decent amount of bedroom space for the wife and kids, but we're looking for, like the fenced in backyard. I want to entertain out on the deck kind of a deal. And have more folks over. The other thing, too, that North Carolina offers is urban archery. This is a thing. Like, I can go hunt whitetail.
Oh yeah, technically where I live, there's a green space. It's what they call it. There's an actual name for it, but it's a green space basically where it's forever wild, and you can bow hunt in that area. I mean, it's state land. Yeah. But you can totally, as long as you have a bow hunting license, you can go bow hunt. And literally, you can look over to your left or your right, and there's freaking a house there. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That
which is pretty cool. Which is pretty cool. Yeah. And they've got that all over New York State. Yeah. There's a lot of places like that.
See, dude, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm gonna take my grandfather's recurve. During urban archery and shit. I'm gonna take the old man's recurve over there with some whisper quiet, add a quiver. A couple of Fred Bear arrows out there with some proper fletching and just loose.
I have my bow license, but I haven't done it in a decade,
dude,
or more, 15, 20 years, actually, more like 20 years.
It's one of my favorite bow hunting.
Cool.
What's that?
It really is cool, though.
Oh, it's fantastic. Do you know who Fred Bear is?
No.
See, this is the next episode. We'll talk about archery a little bit here.
Yeah, where are we at time-wise?
Fred Bear's the man. We got to wrap this bad boy up. But I talk about moving, and I talk about all of these different things because I'm like, fuck, man, I'm going to be giving up some hunting, but I'm going to be closer commute-wise, and frankly, to a larger social base, moving.
Yeah, man, it's hard. There's a give and a take.
You know what it boils down to? It sucks. Moving sucks.
It does. Moving sucks. And also, if you're married, it has to do with happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, there you go. I love it, baby. Make up your fucking mind.
It's like we had this conversation earlier where I was saying, because my wife and I are looking for another house.
Right.
And I said, if it's up to me, like if it was me to just say, I'm the man, I'm going to make the decision, I would live on a farm, basically.
Right, exactly. With a wraparound porch.
And I have no qualms with that whatsoever.
A wraparound porch surrounded by mountains on one side, the ocean on the other, elk on one side, shark fishing on the other. How can we make this a reality?
Right.
Like, why is this? Yeah.
Like, why is this so hard? Like, how can we just make this happen? But anyway. So, I'm like, I know I'm not saying I want to live in the boonies. I don't. Right. But I want to live on 20 plus acres of land within a reasonable driving distance to civilization.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult to find. You can find it. I mean, you kind of live there now.
Right.
To an extent. Yours is probably a little farther out just because the civilization I'm talking about is like more urban than,
more urban. Well, share, listening audience, share your movie.
Lewisburg, or what is it? Where do you live,
Lewisburg.
Lewisburg.
But I don't live up there. I mean, I live
compared to Raleigh. Yeah, you know what I'm saying though. Like you need to have what you have, like 20 minutes closer to Raleigh.
Right. And I'm looking for that, frankly.
And there you go.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. Fob and Victus, 20 minutes closer.
I need the same thing in Syracuse, and that's doable. The problem is that, I'm the only one. I mean, my kids would probably love it too. And at the end of the day, my wife would love it. The problem is that she's so ingrained in this community that it is what it is. So I just defer, which kind of sucks, but.
I think, here's my advice, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to wish in one hand. I'm going to shit in the other. I'm going to see which one fills up quicker.
Which one's going to fill quicker. So, anyway. Anyway. All right,
please share your moving stories. We want to hear the horror stories. We want to hear about, like, you dropped a fucking piano on a neighbor or something. I mean, whatever. But, like, most difficult moves, best moves, give us some moving tips. Maybe you, the listening audience, could alleviate some of this bullshit that we're dealing with. You know what I mean? So comments, views, shares, tips, subscribe, rate, review the podcast now on iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM. Huge thank you to our sponsors. Heroes Media Group is our network. Love you guys. Adam, love you, bro. We're going hunting, Adam and I. This is happening. We're going to slay bodies. You're welcome. All of you. Veteranslist.us. You guys rock. Will, Rick, keep on keeping on, bros. Who else we got in the lineup? Spartan Media.
Yeah, we got some more too.
Spartan Media. Soon. We do. We oh man, some exciting shit's happening.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's not 2 or 3 that we've got right on the cusp.
See, I think that we just need to have a "we're not going anywhere" episode where it's just like,
yeah, like, hey, you might like us, you might not, but the problem is whether you like us or not, we're going in.
Oh, yeah.
We're not.
We're loitering.
We're loitering.
We're
Cigars
loitering
and
in
Sea
this
Stories
space.
is going nowhere. So if you're in the space, you might as well just listen.
Yeah.
Just shut up and listen.
And review the podcast.
Right.
There you go. Oh, man, I love you. And now, on that note, we cue the music.
I will flag on front to